What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Tuesday, January 31st, 2023. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you all very much. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Tuesday to you all. Let's jump into the astrology for today. Well, the sun's going to come to 11 degrees of Aquarius, and that means that it's squaring the midpoint here at 11 degrees Taurus of the North Node in Uranus. Very interesting day. We just had, of course, the sun square the nodes. Of course, it was with a first quarter square of the moon over the weekend. Then we come into Monday and we see the moon conjunct with Mars, now direct on Aldebaran. Definitely a sword of truth. And here we are Tuesday with the moon still in Gemini, off the trine to the sun breaking away from the trine to Mars. So the truth has definitely been revealed within at least your own consciousness, within your own identification of something in your life, in your environment, most likely. And I would say that this is where we can get a little confused. We can shy away from that truth. And I would say at this pressure point to Uranus, and even building up to this Sun-Uranus square, is a big test of liberation. But we're dealing with a falled sun in Aquarius. That's where the sun's at fall position. And we're dealing with a Uranus that many would say is at fall position here in Taurus, because many people give exaltation to Uranus in Scorpio. So it's a very interesting, weird dynamic between these two planets here. And of course, we get this every Aquarius season, and we have since 2018. But the point being is that the North nodes here and everything that's happened in Gemini with the mind, we can start to get a little confused or a little lost. And even with the Mercury trining over to that Uranus and how that broke up, there's been such a liberating insight that has dropped into your psyche, and we can shy away from that. We can definitely try and run back into situations, hold on to something when there is a great deal of change. Maybe, a great deal is subjective, and this is subjective time with the moon in Gemini. It's good to be able to have subjectivity and to figure out what's yours and what isn't yours, but to take information from all sides. But we definitely don't want to go the opposite of a liberation in our lives. We want to figure out what it is that our values are. I think we know. It's definitely like an interesting day of getting things dialed in so that we can connect fully to the value and the quality of the life that we want, and that keeps us stimulated and keeps us kind of going. So we're kind of seeing where we can definitely be finding blocks today, and we need to break free and, get ourselves moving here. And it doesn't have to be fast. This isn't about like some quick hit. This is definitely like little by little, being able to hone in on what's most important, because there's been something that has dropped into your mind or your heart or your psychology. A truth now. And there's definitely action that has to be taken, and we're starting to see what's up with that action. And of course, as the sun's building up to the square to Uranus, we got Venus at 5 degrees of Pisces building up to the square at basically the exact same time over to Mars in Gemini. So there is a little bit of tension that's building. The moon can be very helter-skelter here as it kind of gets into that third decan of Gemini. We can be a little erratic emotionally. And we've had some really good astrology, but it's been really potent. We definitely want to try and keep our cool, maintain things, keep things in the right kind of excitement in our lives, and, not feel like we're so far separated from the feeling that we want, the security of life that we desire. We have to really dig deep into our own place inwardly of what that is, so that we can change and get things where it needs to go. And there is like a element of feeling like we have to, it's almost like we have to try, but it's not even like a try moment. Like just do. Listen to your intuition, listen to your feelings. Instead of just being so mental about it, you already know. The mind knows already. It got the zap download. So now we're just at this place where our mind with Mars direct here in Gemini and Venus starting to square that this week, where we can be at odds with what we know within our heart would bring us more love, would bring us more happiness, bring more of that unconditional aspect quality and value quality to what we're relating ourselves to and how we relate to ourselves. But we can definitely like start to trip ourselves out or create crazy conflicts when it's really not that crazy. It's just like being in your subjective truth and knowing the value of that truth and being disconnected from all the noise so that you can be clear on what is most connected in your life. So we really want to hone in on the value of the connectivity that we can have today. And by the evening, we're going to see the moon square over to Neptune, which is not helping coming into the evening tonight of, any kind of clarity. It's extremely sensitive. We can, try and understand emotions so much and maybe think that we have an idea, but we probably will be a little bit more confused than we would want to admit. So, the sensitivities are here for a reason. They're definitely calling for the action of how you can really connect to the uniqueness of life that you've already gotten the download of what the value of that is. And I know that it can feel uncomfortable and we can think, but we have to remember to do too. And if we want to bring dreams into reality, we have to remember that doing is a huge part of doing just that. So definitely feeling some pressure build. There is still some nice aspects here coming into tomorrow morning early. We're going to see the moon trine Saturn. So again, it's almost like just making big decisions for yourself from a place of what's going to bring you comfort and what's going to bring you more emotional connection to really sync up the mind and the emotional self. Those things are the decisions that you really want to make about where your future is going, what's around you, what's close, how to express yourself. And it can be a little, I think today we're starting to see some energy really kind of ramp up in something's got to give. The sword of truth has sliced through with that aspect with the moon on Mars on Aldebaran on Monday, and now we're kind of seeing the pieces fall to either side based on what the truth was. So I do think that we're positioning ourselves, trying to relate, we're trying to be unconditional, we're trying to be compassionate still, of course, but we also have to remember that we have to take some action, and we have to be able to understand our big plans and our journey and our mission and the things that are most important to us. And I think that we're there, but we're definitely going to see some splits take place in our life this week. So I just kind of felt that intuitively as I got into this horoscope, and I think the astrology backs it up. So we don't need to be so frazzled if, we're starting to see where things are really falling and where things are moving forward to. It's, we're here to empower ourselves as we move forward to the next part of what's starting and what's really going to be expansive and grow and relate to and connect to. What does that look like in your life? What groups, what environment? What do you feel gives you purpose that is bigger than just yourself, but feels like what you really came here to do, and to hone in on that. And that's where, the focus and the action will create exactly what you do desire. We are starting to see Juno at 9 degrees of Aries here, and we're starting to see it make a sextile over to Mars. And we're starting to see Mars sextile Chiron. So I do think that, we've had to kind of push and battle, especially over the last few months. I mean, Mars and Chiron have kind of been in their sextile for a while here, and they were making, yods to the south node in Scorpio for a while. It's using it too, like really knowing how to use that power, use that presence, and how to relate yourself from the most true aspect of who you are now, and to not get too confused. Because I do think there's a confusion or feeling, at a disposition when it comes to the choice of what side of that sort of truth that showed up in your life do you really, really want to be on, and you really want to go towards the liberated one that feels unique, that feels connected, and that feels like it's yours, because that's where things are going to take off for people when it comes to being a magician. So, wishing you all the best, of course. last week was something else, and we get a full moon T-square that Uranus this week. It's gonna be at 16 Leo. And, Venus-Mars squares are, kind of tense in their own right. This Venus is much stronger, so we really do want to, still have a level of compassion and vision. And, what is the ideal, situation that we want to be in that does feel in alignment? It's likely thinking gets us taken too far away, when right now it is about the physical action of what brings you the most value and what connects you to the life that you want to relate to. Because I guess, we can push things off all we want right now, but that full moon is not going to let our heart conceal what it needs to do. So it's almost like this week's like, okay, well, time to maybe, remember, like, you feel it, you know it. You don't have to wait till the last second, because that's where things really feel like some catastrophe happened. And then we start to play the victim in ourselves, and that's what we are definitely not trying to do, is play any victim role, but to really take the empowerment back. And I think this week's great for that. Ace of Cups in reverse. It's almost like we're seeing these sides and we're feeling these aspects, and we know there's a new beginning, but we also know that there's the same, or what we think will be the same, and we can choose to go that route. I'm not even saying that there's a wrong or a right route. We choose whichever we need to do for this human experience in our own evolution, but I do feel like we can trust our feelings and our emotions, because they want to get things going, but we can also, pour out the goodness and just kind of feel empty at the same time. And I don't think that's what we want to do. Like, we don't want to fly into the underworld, if you will. We want to fly into the love, into the unconditional aspects, and really the phoenix rising, and even the crosses up there. And we got the High Priestess reversed. Is the veil thin? Is it so thin that we can betray ourselves by not listening to it? Maybe. It is definitely a card of duality here. So I believe that your higher self, your, truer essence of yourself that is connected to something bigger, knows exactly what's up. But I would say that our egos could be in a place right now where they're trying to figure something out that isn't meant to be just maybe linearly, completely understood. Like we have to have all this evidence to prove to ourselves or to someone else. It could be hard to listen to our gut and our intuition of what would actually feel good, when really that's got, some great answers in it right now. We could find some confusion that's not necessary. It's like, if you feel it, do it. Don't second guess yourself, because it is a second guess kind of day. And the Five of Cups in reverse. I like that card, though, reverse, because it's definitely saying getting out of sorrow, apathetic, energy. Where do we want to go? It's like we can really go to what's showing up, to what has a presence, to what is felt, to what feels good, the quality. We have every option in the world. I guess it's just all about really taking, responsibility for what you want to do, no matter what the outcome is. If we fail, if it doesn't work out, we take responsibility for it. We own up to it and say, well, it's life. It's the human experience. Nothing's meant to go perfect. But you know what? We can feel like we also didn't take action, and then we just put ourselves into a position of lack. And that's not helping us get anywhere, and that's not helping beautiful stories take place. That's not helping the magic and the alchemy within our spirit and soul come to the physical. So I feel like this Tuesday's a little bit of a test, and there's a little bit of tension. Can you act on what you know is true to you? Can you follow through with it when it can look like information's missing and you do know internally what's up? And you know what? I feel like it's funny because the intuition, I feel this like could lead us to something that's not easy. It's like we always want the easy way, and we think if we follow our intuition, we're just going to get the easy route. And I don't know if that's, I mean, it's absolutely possible, but I don't feel that in the energy currently is that it's okay if it doesn't go as planned. It's okay if you think you know and you act on something and it shows up a different way. That doesn't mean you did anything wrong, but it did prove to the universe that you were willing to trust your own sense of self and your action and your intuition, for better or for worse, no matter how it shows up. And just that frequency of trusting yourself is huge, and it'll go somewhere very positive, but that's faith, right? Even if something doesn't work out, you still have to keep faith and, hold the line. So it's an interesting day. It's very confusing. We definitely are going to feel like we need to do something, and there's a right side of the truth sword and the split that I mentioned that you want to be on. Be on that side. Just do it, even if it doesn't work out as planned, or it doesn't go exactly as you could have conjured up, or it's okay. I just want people to know that that's life. That's being human, and we're all here to be human. So there's an interesting energy out there right now. I think we're all going to do just fine. It can still be a great day. You can feel so, I would say there can be an excitement in new opportunity. And if you follow your gut, if you listen to yourself, you're going to come out on top in the end, no matter what. So don't worry, don't stress, but do you. Liberate yourself. Find your uniqueness. Own that. Things will work out exactly as they're meant to. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful Tuesday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.